we do have to talk about what was the most entertaining match of the weekend, Verona against Trentino. First set went to Trentino 25-21. And I mean, they looked like they were in control. And then Verona absolutely just steamrolled them after that, 25-15, 25-21, 25-18 in favor of the team from Romeo and Juliet's hometown. And now Verona, of course, as everyone expected, was led by Nomori Keta. He was outstanding in this one, 26 points. He was 17 for 32. He had a 40% efficiency. And I mean, that efficiency was way higher. In the fourth set, he was clearly just messing around a little bit and, having a bit of Engapeth fun and just really dominating. But the big number for him, 8 aces. 8 aces in this match. He had 8 of the 9 aces for Verona, 6 of them coming in set number 2, and he absolutely dominated, right? He is so good from the baseline. He's so electric, and when things are going good, they are going real well. And honestly, one thing that really impressed me by Keta in this match was his defense. His ability to sit back on the baseline with his heels on the baseline or even behind the baseline and play that 6-back really well. And he made a number of digs to just keep the ball alive. And with this Verona team, they're so good on the outside, and Micah is ready to run a bit of a marathon, I guess, is able to track down some things, and they keep balls alive. They really do keep some balls alive. And you can see that by looking at Trentino's numbers. They really struggled to score in this one. It was a much different team on either side of the net, as Verona was so good offensively. They hit a 62% with a 52% efficiency, and they're so deadly when they are in system. And then, if we look at the passing numbers from both of these teams, 38% positive for Trentino, 45% positive for Verona. And more specifically in set number 3, they were 31% perfect as well, which really just helps open things up. I find that Micah is really cooking with this offense. He really is. He has a fantastic outlet in Keta, and it does seem like you can just kind of toss the ball up from Keta, and his ability to hit kind of like, he's almost reminds me of Chendenjeze in a way, where he's going to hit balls kind of past himself. He's going to watch it go almost over to his left shoulder, and he's going to reach across and bring it back almost horizontally to be able to hit some gnarly angles. And he hits it with such pace too every single time. It's so hard to deal with. But Micah, it's very clear, and I was almost surprised that Trentino didn't really pick up on this, that, they really like Micah early in the set is going to feed the middles. He is. Early in the set, he's going to give it to the middles, and we saw that they were both pretty good in this one. Marco Vitelli went 5 for 5 offensively. Lorenzo Cattesia was 4 for 7 overall. And it's just early on, he establishes the middles, usually on a bit of a 31, gets them moving, and he just holds. He held the Trentino middles so well. And then it's just quick dishes out to the outside. And I think what's most important from Micah is that he's really pushing it all the way to the antenna. And we've seen like Mozic bounce line. We've seen Keta bounce line. We've seen Darlin especially hit that backdoor shot. And it just leads to a really fast and really exciting offense. I mean, as I said, Keta was outstanding, 17 for 32. Actually, his serve receive wasn't terrible. I'm interested to see how it develops throughout the year, because often on float serves, he was just standing up and just taking them with his hands, right? Just stepping up, taking the ball first time with his hands, which does kind of pull him out of the pipe a little bit, and that back row play if he is in the back row. But especially when he's in the front row, he's so athletic that oftentimes he doesn't even need an approach. And Micah just kind of sets him into that far gap, and he's able to score. But other than that, Darlin, 14 for 20 with a 60% efficiency, and Mozic, 13 for 20 with a 55% efficiency. So, they dominated from the baseline. They had 9 aces, 23 errors compared to Trentino, only 5 aces, 27 errors. And serving is really what dictated this match, right? Verona was pretty decent, like above 44% positive throughout the entirety of the match. But you see here, if you're watching online, only 6% perfect in that first set. And that's when Trentino was serving the best. That's when they got 3 of their 5 aces. Micheletto got 1 or 2 in the first set. That's when Micheletto got 5 of his 11 points was in the first set. We'll talk about him in just a second. But it was very clear that, to me, Trentino wasn't serving tough enough. And Faure is a guy that they're expecting to go out there and put on some pressure, and he missed over 50% of his serves with 8 errors on 15 attempts. He did get 1 ace later on in the match, but then at that point, it was a little too late. He was good offensively, 14 for 25, hitting a 56%, but Micheletto, I thought that might have been one of the worst matches I've seen from him in a while. Offensively was really not great. He was 8 for 29 offensively, with a 13% efficiency, which is not Micheletto-like numbers at all. And then defensively as well, passing, 27% positive, 18% perfect. Now, just the way that they move Micheletto around, oftentimes like he's almost kind of in motion when he's getting served, so that can kind of expect it. But he even said in a post-match interview that was on the Trentino Instagram channel, and side note, Instagram is now naturally translating things, which I think is awesome because it means I can actually read it. But he even said that, they need to be better. They have a lot to work on if they want to be the team that they're expecting to be. And that's 2 matches in a row, 2 matches in the same week that Trentino has really struggled in serve receive. And now, unfortunately, I think a lot of it has to come down to Jordi Ramon. He just is clearly getting targeted. Teams are looking to serve him and Lorenzano. And Lorenzano had a hard time handling the heat. He passed all right at times in this one. I mean, he did have 33 targets, passed 48% positive, 24% perfect, but he also got aced 5 times, right? He had ace more than half of the times. And it is really tough out there with Keta. But Lorenzano is a guy who wants to be the number 1 libero for Italy. So he needs to be able to take that kind of heat on a regular basis, and he really just wasn't. And, not only is the receive not good enough for Trentino, but the serving as well just isn't strong enough. And I'll go back to Micheletto. I mean, he did have 2 aces, but there was a number of occasions where he's serving what I would call muffins, and he's coming down and immediately, like, visibly frustrated with himself. I don't know if there's been times when he's trying to serve short, but it's just around the attack line, just in front of Mozic, he's able to step in, or just in front of D'Amico, and they're able to step in and pass a pretty good ball. And with Christensen in system, and especially the way that he's establishing those middles early, it makes it really, really difficult for teams to defend them. And now I've found that this is 2 matches in a row where we have fast offenses. And I mean, we have to admit that both Lube and Verona run the fastest offenses in the Lega volley and 2 of the fastest offenses in the world. But still, like, Trentino is a team that is the defending Scudetto champions, and they want to get back there again. And right now, I don't know if they can. I really don't. This is a team that has been struggling and have a lot of work to do. And now, especially, like, they need to be able to open up down the middle. They need to have a little bit of room down the middle to swing. Torvi was pretty good in this one. He was 5 for 9 with 2 blocks. Flavio was 6 for 9, but did have an error as well. But I kind of like to me, Trentino's offense really just became 2-dimensional. It was either Micheletto or it was Faure. And Faure had a pretty good game offensively. Micheletto did not. But at no point did they really open things up and go to Jordi Ramon. And while he wasn't passing the best, he also got aced. He got aced 3 times, but also missed 5 serves. I mean, just everyone was missing on the Trentino side of things, except for Flavio, who's just hitting a float serve over. And that's part of the reason why he has the least amount of attempts as well too. But I kind of want to give like if Michieletto is struggling like that offensively and only hitting a 28% with a 13% efficiency, then go to Ramon. This is a guy who knows how to hit against multiple blocks. This is a guy who knows how to score. He was 8 for 15 in this one with a 53% efficiency. He didn't make any errors, didn't get any blocks. And I mean, that is partly because he is almost like a secondary or a tertiary option in this offense. But still, I don't know. There's not much changing on the Trentino side of the net right now. And it was a really good win for Fabio Soli, too, who was with Trentino last year, helped them win that Scudetto. Then they moved on to Mendez. And, I'm not entirely sure if it was Soli that left first or maybe they went and got Mendez first. But regardless, that must be a really, really nice win for him. And then the way that, this Verona team is playing right now is just really exciting. You've got 3 young, really dynamic outsides who are able to put the ball away. And I think it's just a really fun watch. I really enjoy it. And I still think it's a little early to apologize for, doubting them in my preview, but I think we're getting there. We're going to have to see, how they do in the second half of the season. We'll have to see how they do up against Lube and against Perugia. And, remember that my biggest criticism is that they weren't able to get the job done in the playoffs. So them being able to win a first round matchup is going to be paramount. Now, already with this win, they're really slotting themselves nicely to finish in the top 3. And also, let's be honest, that the Lega Volley is not at the strength that it was in past years. Last year they finished 4th in the league, and then they had to play a still pretty stacked Piacenza team in those quarterfinals. So, Verona, hats off to them because they were really, really good in this one. It was a lot of fun to watch, and they're just a fun team to watch, especially when they're playing at home because you've got the lights and everything. It's just a really, really fun watch. And another opinion in the chat, Trentino looks so stale. Absolutely. They absolutely did. Like, I don't really know how much longer they can just resort to setting like a medium ball offense to Michieletto and Foch. Like it is like abundantly clear to me that Michieletto needs to be the best player in the gym if this team is going to succeed. And I don't think that's a good spot for any team to be in the world, right? If you have to rely on Michieletto that much, I don't think it's great. And I do think that while his receive is a big part of the issue for Trentino, but I mean, I think you could say the exact same thing about Lorenzano as well too. I think Ramon needs to be featured in that offense a little bit more. I think it needs to be a little bit more dynamic, a little bit faster. And, I think you need to move your back row ball around a little bit more. I think you need to move your middles a little bit more as well. They are just kind of playing straight up. And for me, it's not enough. Is there any information about Levia's return? No information whatsoever about Levia's return. Honestly, I think that we can just almost assume that he won't be playing this season. Maybe not until the end of the year. I mean, he broke his finger. So we'll see what kind of timeline he has back. But even then, like, there's going to be an adjustment period as well, too. Like, he's not going to come back at 100%. So, if you are Trentino now, it is like you don't want to put yourself in too bad of a spot. So it's been a little bit difficult. But as I said, Verona now at the top spot. That's not the standings. Where did I? I guess I didn't bring out the standings. But Verona in that top spot right now in the Lega Volley. They have their 4 wins, same as Perugia. However, they have done it all in 3 or in 4. So they have yet to go to 5 yet. They've only lost 2 sets on the year. But Verona with another really tough matchup coming up in this weekend, because you're going to have them going to be taking on Lube. And I was thinking about doing a preview for that match, but that I think I'm going to wait until Friday's episode just so we don't talk about them too much here. And that's another reason why we have the Friday episodes as well. But